3.5 in Wa and beyond. Now, the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, has formally charged the former National Signals Bureau, NSB, Director General Kwabena Adu Boahene and his wife, Angela Ejeboateng, over corruption offences to the tune of several millions of cedis, together with the two others of Mildred Donko and Advantage Solutions Limited. They are facing charges of 11 counts of offences, including stealing, money laundering, defrauding by false pretenses, and willfully causing financial loss. According to the writ filed at the High Court, which we have a copy of, if you go on our Facebook page right now, 3FM927, we're displaying aspects of this writ filed at the High Court earlier today. Mr. Adu Boahene, who was responsible for overseeing critical national security infrastructure, including contracts with foreign companies, signed a deal with an Israeli company, ISC Holdings Limited, to purchase cyber defense software for some $7 million. In total, Adu Boahene is alleged to have transferred approximately $49 million, that's around $7 million, from the NSB's funds into his personal account, falsely justifying these transactions as payments for the cyber defense systems together with his accomplice. Now, further investigation, according to the writs that we have revealed that no cybersecurity system of the description in the January 30, 2020 contract was ever received by the Bureau of National Communications or by its successor agency, the National Signals Bureau, or by the government of Ghana. That's according to the court documents, which we have a copy of here at 3FM927. Shortly, Eric Mawuena Egbeta is connecting with me right now. From what's happening at the courts, Laud Asare is there for us. We understand the Attorney General and his deputy, Dr. Justice Wadem Pwaberi, they are both in court together with Kwabena Adu Boahene and his wife, and also this other accused person as well. And we understand right from that particular court hearing, they will be proceeding to the press conference expected to be addressed by the Attorney General to give an update on the cases so far. Eric Mawuena Egbeta is there for us and is monitoring the atmosphere ahead of this crucial press conference that the Attorney General is expected to address. Eric, tell us what's happening where you are at the moment.
Alfred, like you already mentioned, we're still here in the Information Services Department, where the Attorney General is expected to be headed towards in anticipation of that news conference. Yes, we have it on firm word that he is at the law court complex where the formal charges are being slapped on Kwabena Adu Boahene and his wife, and one other individual, 4 accused persons in that court document which we cited, a number of which you've made reference to. But we've just been getting unofficial word as well from the Minister for Government Communications, who says that there is a bombshell that's coming on its way when the Attorney General finishes at the court and comes here to address us. And so that's just what we're waiting for at this point in time. The conclusion of work at the court, and then we can have the Attorney General arrive here for that much anticipated news conference, Alfred.
I see. And you indicate that some persons there have already given you an indication of what is to be expected. They describe it as what? A bombshell? Who said this to you?
The Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwabena, he had that to say. And just a bit more reference on his socials as well. He's tweeted oral with some exclamation marks as well, seeking to suggest that progress may have been made on the government's much touted and much looked forward to Operation Recover All Loot. And so that, and combining the both of that and what he's told us unofficially here, it presupposes that there might be fresh details emanating from the Attorney General's office on matters relating to the Operation Recover All Loot. All throughout, we've been anticipating some big news from the quarters of the Attorney General's office. We've picked intel which suggests that significant progress has been made on a number of cases. Disclosures have not been made as to the specific cases, but just in these last hour, a lot of the things we've seen from the Minister for Government Communications tweet, and then this interaction with the Attorney General himself being present in court as these formal charges are being laid on Kwabena Adu Boahene and his wife and one other donko, it presupposes there's a lot more that's up in the cards. And perhaps a month ago when we were here, when the Attorney General said there will be a trailer in Manila, it might be playing out right before our eyes today, Alfred.
And Eric, hold on a bit for me. Let's cross over to the court complex right now, where we understand that this particular case has also or is being heard in court as we speak, and our legal affairs correspondent Laud Asare is in court for us. Lord, you earlier indicated that you've cited the Attorney General, his deputy, Kwabena Adu Boahene, his wife, and then also Mildred Donko. Tell us a bit more of what you've observed so far.
Right, so Alfred, a little while ago, the case began. Even before the case began, the lead counsel for Kwabena Adu Boahene, the former Signals Bureau, his wife, and then the third accused person, Mildred Donko, he indicated that the case be adjourned because, and know this, usually when lawyers come before a judge, they are robed in their gowns. In this particular instance, both the Attorney General, his deputy, Dr. Ocansey, and then lawyers of the defense or the accused persons led by Adaklu, all dressed in their regular jackets and tie. Adaklu particularly was in his political suit. And so he was praying before the court that he gave a little background indicating that in the afternoon, earlier today, they were at the EOCO office because they had learned that the Kwabena Adu Boahene has been charged together with his wife and then the one other accused person. So they were at the EOCO together with their clients to meet the interrogators. And then they were informed that they may be in court later today. But just after the charge sheet was handed and then one of the defense lawyers was going to sign, they got another notification that they were heading right to court. And so they were quickly whisked to the court, and that was why they were not appropriately dressed before the presiding judge. And so he was praying the court that they adjourn the matter so that they can take a deep dive into the charge sheet and then advise their clients accordingly, and then the case can proceed evening. But then the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, opposed it, indicating that they had ample time. Yes, this case should proceed because it had been served, and indeed one of the defense lawyers had taken into cognizance the charge sheet, and so it cannot be said that they were not aware of it. One thing that the lead counsel for Kwabena Adu Boahene indicated was that he said the case is not, he described it as an ambulance case, sort of indicating that the Attorney General was sort of rushing the case, and so they're not in any hurry because if it's a criminal matter, they can proceed at any time. But then the Attorney General opposed and saying that the case should continue. If anything at all, it can be heard, and then they can adjourn it, and then the case will continue. After hearing both sides, the presiding judge in the matter indicated that, well, they're already before the court, and so if anything at all, the pleas of the accused person should be taken, and then if any adjournment is given, then the case will continue from there. And so the case was heard. I mean, after the time I was leaving the premises, the charges were being read to the accused person. Kwabena Adu Boahene pleaded not guilty to all the counts of it. You realize that the charges preferred against him involved stealing, conspiracy to steal, money laundering, causing financial loss to the state, among others. And there was another other accused person, Mildred Donko, who was cited as a former relationship officer of the two, and then the director of the fourth accused person, which is the Advantage Solution Limited. So they pleaded not guilty, and so that's how far I can report it, because the case is still currently ongoing, Albert. And something that I overheard just as the counsel entered was that there seems to be a bit of a tension between the Attorney General and Adaklu, because the Attorney General indicated that prior to this case, he and Adaklu had a very good relationship. He calls him all the time, they chat, but since the inception of this case, anytime he calls, Atacha doesn't respond, and there seems to be some sort of bad blood in there already.
See, and so this, since this case is still being heard, I'm gonna leave you. But then again, if you go on our Facebook page right now, we're showing you videos. These are videos from the court complex that legal affairs correspondent, the man you just heard, Laud Asare, has just made available to us. So go on our Facebook page at 3FM927. The accused persons, Kwabena Adu Boahene, walking to the court, smiling. In high spirits, and then also his wife as well, both of them smiling, and Mildred Donko spotted in a black kaftan. He looks, he's not smiling at all, he's just walking straight in there, and you have a security personnel also behind them walking together to the courtroom as we captured earlier. So if you go on our Facebook page right now, 3FM927, see Kwabena Adu Boahene in that black long sleeve shirt, the black trousers, an Iyoko official fully armed behind him. In fact, there are two Economic and Organized Crime Office officials behind him and his wife, and then also a gentleman who drove the vehicle in which Kwabena Adu Boahene and his wife alighted from is with them as well. And then it's the videos we're seeing right now, it clearly appears that they're in high spirit. In fact, they were met at the entrance of the court complex by their lawyer, that is Samuel Atacha. He's a private legal practitioner, former member of parliament, former minister in charge of works and housing as well. He is a lawyer for Kwabena Adu Boahene. And prior to today, they had already sued the Attorney General, is it not, for defamation, correct?
Yes, they have. And Alfred, when you look at the visuals as well, it appears to be quite unusual. And I think that's what Laud was trying to explain. Because when you see the attire of Atacha, it doesn't look like a regular lawyer appearing before a judge. So if they appear before the judge in this
that's a kaftan.
Kaftan, yes. He's looking very casual, not properly robed to appear before a judge. But if this, I mean, they were allowed to granted audience before the judge, means that a special dispensation has been made, perhaps due to the nature of the case. And even when you look at the timing of, I mean, this time that's like somewhere around 4 p.m. thereabout.
4 p.m. thereabout. That's true.
Yeah, it's quite unusual. But of course, law tells us that the process is ongoing, and definitely by the end of this sitting, their plea would have been taken, and which typically will be the beginning of a criminal case. We have seen that the charge sheet has already been filed, which we'll be running through to see the specific details of what's contained in those charges. The next thing is for them to put them properly before the court, which you understand is ongoing. That's about reading the charges to them and taking their plea. Thereafter, they will go into the matter of considering bail. Remember, the issue of bail had already come, but that was before they were properly put before the court. So in most instances, typically what the court would do will be to just admit them to the bail that they already are on, just so the process would continue. But yes, these are just the preliminary aspects of the whole matter, and we look forward to see how this is going to progress moving forward.
Perfect. Now let's get into the charges as filed today by the Attorney General for on behalf of the Republic. Let's get into it.
So now getting into the charges proper, we are now told that the accused persons are 4 in all, 3 natural persons and 1 artificial person. Artificial person means
this is a company?
It's a company, yes, a corporate entity. So the natural persons, the first accused person is Kwabena Adu Boahene himself, the wife Angela Ejeboateng. There's 1 Mildred Donko, who we are hearing for the first time as the third accused person, and then Advantage Solutions Limited, which is the corporate entity, the artificial person being the 4th accused person. Now on count 1 is stealing, contrary to section 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, and the particulars of the offence is that Kwabena Adu Boahene, that you on or about February 5, 2020 in Accra and within the jurisdiction of this court did, under the guise of procuring a cyber defense system for the Republic of Ghana from ISC Holding Limited, dishonestly appropriate the sum of about 27,100,000 Ghana cedis belonging to the Republic of Ghana with the intention of depriving the government of Ghana of the said amount. Count 2 is also on stealing, except that in this case, The date of the offense is March 20, 2020, also in Accra, and this amount involved is 1 million Ghana cedis belonging to the Republic of Ghana with the same intent, that's depriving the government of Ghana of the said amount. Count 3, also stealing, also against Kwabena Adu Boahene. That also happened on the 30th of March 2020. It also has to do with a similar transaction between himself and then the ISC holding, and the amount involved is 21 million Ghana cedis, also belonging to the Republic of Ghana. There's conspiracy, and that conspiracy is alleged to be between Kwabena Adu Boahene and Angela Eji Boateng, and that in February and March 2020 in Accra and within the jurisdiction of this court, you did agree to act together to steal the sum of about 49,100,000 Ghana cedis belonging to the Republic of Ghana with the intention of depriving the states of the said amount. There's also count 5, which talks about defrauding by false pretenses, and that is contrary to section 1311 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 at 29. And this said offense is said to have occurred between February and March 2020, also in Accra, and that is in respect of some 49,100,000, and that it was said to be an amount used to buy cyber securities for the Republic of Ghana, and that they caused the government of Ghana to part with the said sum. 6 also is another offense, which is willful causing financial loss to the state, and that is contrary to section 179A3A of the Criminal Offences Act. The particulars of offense also between February and March 2020, it's also in respect of 49,100,000. The 7th offense, using public office for profits, contrary to section 179CA of the Criminal Offences Act. Particulars of offense within the same duration of time, that's February and March 2020, and in this case, this is against Kwabena Adu Boahene alone. The 8th has to do with collaboration to commit crime, and to wit, this is using public office for profit. This also against Angela Eji Boateng in respect of some 49,100,000 Ghana cedis belonging to the Republic of Ghana. There's an offense of obtaining public property by false statements, and the particulars of this offense is that Edu Jemfi in February and March 2020 in a crime within the jurisdiction of this court, by representation that you purchased a cyber defense system from ISC Holding Limited, caused the total sum of 45,100,000 Ghana cedis to be given to you, which representation you knew to be false and had no reason to believe same. There is an offense of money laundering as well. Alfred, what you notice in this is that there's a mix of offenses. We've looked at money laundering offenses. We've looked at obtaining public property by false statements. We've looked at conspiracy to commit crime, using public office for profits. We've looked at stealing, and then there's one which is quite different from all of them. Okay, so money laundering. So let's just establish the particulars of offense as it relates to the money laundering. In this case, that's where the third accused person comes in. Kwabena Adu Boahene, Angela Eji Boateng, Mildred Donko, and Advantage Solutions Limited. So in here, you'd see all the 4 accused persons there. That you, in the year 2020 in Accra and within the jurisdiction of the court, did take possession of a part of the sum of money totaling about 49,100,000 Ghana cedis, knowing at the time of taking possession that the money was acquired through stealing. So in all, Alfred, you have 11 counts that have been leveled against the 4 accused persons, ranging from conspiracy to commit money laundering itself, stealing, obtaining public property by false statements, collaboration to commit crime, to wit, using public office for profits, and also the offense of willful causing financial loss to the state. So in essence, that's what is contained in the charge sheet. I mean, when you look at the summary of accompanying facts, as you'd have typically on the charge sheet, where the prosecution would give you a brief of what information that they are basing these charges on. It's typically a recount of the address that was given by the Attorney General in that press conference, where he had said that the coming days were going to be a trailer in Manila.
Indeed.
Yes, so it's basically talking about the fact that Kwabena Adu Boahene, at the time that he was at the National Signals Bureau as the Director General, how a company was incorporated which looked like the official account. I mean, yes, a company was incorporated which had an account similar to that of the National Signals Bureau. A contract was entered between the National Signals Bureau and then a certain company to acquire some cyber security infrastructure or equipment. We are now told that per audits, that equipment that was supposed to be bought cannot be found at the National Signals Bureau. Because that was one key question that many were asking at the time, that if they took delivery of that equipment after all. But now the facts disclose that that equipment, equipment was never delivered to the National Signals Bureau.
And in fact, this is some further and better particulars that we have beyond what the Attorney General indicated at that press conference, and this was about a month ago, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Now, a month on, we're having these charges now preferred against Adu Boahene. You recall that the reason for this defamation suit by Kwabena Adu Boahene against the Attorney General was that no charges had been preferred against him, right? All this while, and he had already been pronounced guilty in the court of public opinion and so on.
Yes, precisely so. Because in that press conference, a lot more was said, including what the alleged stolen money or laundered money, or however you would wish to describe it. But I mean, the Attorney General was of the view that the money was tainted, that it was used to acquire several properties. I mean, in that press conference, specifics were given to how much properties and where some of them were located, given specific names and locations. It was the contention of the lawyer for Mr. Adu Boahene and then his wife, that's the manner in which the Attorney General went about the whole thing did not augur well for the reputation of his clients, who he says that they are, highly respected persons in society. They've worked so hard to get to where they are, and they didn't deserve to be treated the way they were treated. I mean, it was counsel's argument that from what the Attorney General did, he literally painted them as people who really are thieves, people who are fraudsters, and he used all manner of names to describe how the public perceived his clients after that Attorney General's press conference. It was the basis on that writ was issued against the Attorney General for defamation. Now we are at a point where the Attorney General has preferred charges against. I mean, I don't know if in this press conference that the Attorney General is going to address, if that will be one of the things that he will be addressing, or perhaps if the journalists are minded to ask if he can just react quickly to that. But of course, largely these are rights that the now accused persons have, that they have clearly exercised.
And let's stay a bit further on this. And finally, there are some charges, as it were, preferred by the Attorney General. And lawyer Christian Malm-Hesse is joining us. He's been following this case quite closely. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us. So now we know what the charges are. In fact, 11 counts of offenses, including stealing, money laundering, defrauding by false pretenses, willfully causing financial loss to the state. Are these that we've seen in this 11 counts as captured in this writ filed at the High Court? We understand the court is still hearing the case as we speak. Now, how's the path for this particular case that's just started today going to be like?
Okay, good evening and thanks for having me. Yes, briefly, they will be arraigned before court just as we have seen. The charges will be read out to them. Their plea would be taken, whether guilty, not guilty, guilty with explanation, all those things. And before that, they are suspects. But once plea is taken and they say they come under any of them, then they properly are fixed before the court. They become the accused persons. And after that has been done, they would ask the defense counsel if he's minded in terms of bail, and he would move by that. If prosecution has reasons to oppose, he would indicate that, and I mean the court will determine the bail matters. That said and done, the matter could be adjourned for further hearing of it. The next agenda would also see disclosures. The court would order disclosures to be served on the defense counsel and all of that. So that will take some time to be sorted out, and where all matters are cleared, then we would see the hearing proper start, and that's where the witnesses will mount the box, and then they'll start hearing. They'll start giving out their testimony in support of the prosecution. And at the end of that particular process, when they are done, it will be for the accused person's lawyer to file submission of no case. That's where, after he had cross-examined the witnesses of the prosecution, and he comes to a conclusion that there is no case to answer, whether the whole or in part, he would do that. And when that is done, and the court, save that he does that, the court might rule on it. And if the court rules and say you have a case to answer, then they would also be given a time within which to file their witness statements or disclosures. And then when that is also done, it comes with whoever they are going to call in respect of witnesses, whether by themselves or others or both. That would also be done, and then prosecution would also begin to cross-examine them, and then at the long end of the trial, addresses will be filed, and then we would have a decision from the court. So it's going to be a bit of a marathon.
Wonderful. Thank you for this detail. It's a marathon indeed. We'll see how things play out. Thank you for your thoughts on this matter. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Christian Malm-Hesse is private legal practitioner on this, and giving us, all things being equal, how the path that this case will travel will be like. But if you go on our Facebook page right now at 3FM927, we're showing you live videos of what's happening outside of the court complex, where this particular case against Kwabena Adu Boahene, his wife, Mildred Donko, and Advantage Solutions Limited were facing 11 charges of 11 counts of offenses, including stealing, money laundering, defrauding by false pretenses, and willfully causing financial loss to the state. And according to the writ filed at the High Court earlier today, Mr. Adu Boahene, who was responsible for overseeing critical national security infrastructure, including contracts with foreign companies, signed a deal with an Israeli company, ISC Holdings Limited, to purchase cyber defense software for $7 million. As Denis has just established, in this particular writ, the state says they cannot even find this said cybersecurity software, and that a particular equipment, it's nowhere to be found, either at the Bureau of National Communications or by its successor agency, the National Intelligence Bureau, that's the National Signals Bureau, as we speak. So this is one that we're keeping an eye on quite closely. We're also getting information right now that the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine, has also just arrived at the venue for the press conference. He will be making his way to the auditorium shortly to address the press and essentially the nation on the status of this number of these cases that the Attorney General himself gave us indication of some time ago when he addressed the press. Now, in the next few minutes, we'll cross over back to the Information Service Department, where this particular press conference is expected to take place shortly. It's going to be live here on 3FM 92.7, so stay with us. It's also going to be live on TV3 as well. This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. But a quick recall of exactly what the Attorney General said at that particular press conference about a month ago, relating to Kwabena Adu Boahene and his reported attempt to evade arrest. You recall, Dennis, that was one point that the Attorney General made at that press conference about a month ago. This is what he said. Kwabena Adu Boahene and his reported attempt to evade arrest. You recall, Denis? At that press conference about a month ago. This is what
11:30, 23:20 hours. EOCO received intelligence that suspect Kwabena Adu Boahene left the country for the United Kingdom via British Airways flight BA 078 to London. Days after that, EOCO received further intelligence that a suspect had flown from the United Kingdom to Dubai and had purchased an Emirates airline ticket, which suggested that he was expected to arrive in Ghana on Friday, March 21st, 2025 at 12 noon via Emirates flight number EK 187. On Thursday, March 20th, 2025, EOCO received intelligence again, additional intelligence, that the suspect had cancelled his flight and rescheduled his arrival to Ghana from Dubai to April 18, 2020. That's April 8th, not 18. April 8th, 2020. Now I want this chronology to sink in because of a point that I will be making later on about why we are detaining him. On March 20th, around 3 p.m., EOCO's operational team, led by the acting deputy executive director in charge of operations, assessed its operational plan to include the possibility that the suspect could have traveled back to London to fly to Ghana in an attempt to evade surveillance. EOCO assessed with high confidence that the changes made by the suspect in terms of arrival date in Ghana may have been calculated step to mislead investigators and throw them off any possible surveillance. EOCO further assessed that the time of the cancellation of the Emirates flight coincided with the time the British Airways was expected to fly from Heathrow to Ghana. The decision was taken to place the suspect on a stop order and make emergency operational adjustments and brace for his unexpected arrival and arrest of the suspect on either British Airways or KLM, which was expected to arrive in Accra. An hour to the arrival of the British Airways flight 078 in Accra, EOCO received intelligence that a name similar to that of suspect Kwabena Adu Boahene had changed from K. Adu Boahene to O. Adu Boahene in the manifest, may be on the British Airways flight. The suspect has slightly altered his name on all the name that is reflected on all his passports. Around 9 p.m. on March 21st, the suspect was stopped by Ghana Immigration Service as he attempted to use the commercially important person CIP terminal at the Kotoka International Airport. Now, he had changed his class from business class to economy, and decided to evade arrest through the CIP terminal.
So that's, you have there Dr. Dominic Ayine addressing the press about a month ago. Now, we will cross over shortly to the press conference venue when this press conference starts in a bit. But this is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.